Great898 here. So today, you guys are in for a real treat because I'm going to show you my complete puppet collection. That's right, you get to see all the puppets that Great898 uses in all the no-budget films. So I've had this video idea bouncing around in my brain for a while, but I also had it requested by this dude, so shout out to him. And without further ado, let's begin. So to start with, here's a puppet I'm sure many of you will recognize. This is the Carnotaurus puppet. It's been in several of my videos, mostly the TRex versus Carnotaurus series. So pretty much it's just a head, no body, no arms, just a simple head and neck. It's pretty high quality, like I like the texture on it. It's pretty realistic, like compared to some others I've seen. Too bad the mouth isn't too detailed though, I mean, yeah, there's no paint in there or anything. So this guy came out in like 2000 as a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. So if you're wondering where to get one, you probably won't find this in stores, but maybe eBay. Next we have this Spinosaurus puppet, which is a bit larger than the Carnotaurus one. And as you can see, it's actually got arms, so I appreciate that. The detail's pretty nice on this thing. The sculpting, the texture, it's pretty much as good as the Carnotaurus, but better in some ways. As you can see, the inside of the mouth does actually have some more detail in there. And I like the fact that they painted it so it actually looks a little more realistic. The eyes are really nice. It looks like it's some sort of clear plastic. So it actually looks like a real eye almost. And then you've got these yellow spikes, very nice. But there's no hint of that sail, that famous sail of the Spinosaurus. So this could pretty much pass as any Spinosaur. It could be a Suchomimus, Baryonyx, I don't know, but I just like to assume it's the Spinosaurus because, well, Spinosaurus is the most famous one that everyone loves. Oh, and one more thing about this puppet. This space right here is so narrow that I just cannot fit my hand in there no matter how hard I try. So every time I use this thing, I actually have to dip my hands in some water just to be able to use this. And then we have this Allosaurus puppet, which you might recognize from its recent victory against the T-Rex in Dino Duels. This is made by the same company as the Spinosaurus, so you can expect the same level of quality and detail. The inside of the mouth is also painted, but the throat is sort of left bare, so it's not the best, but it's alright. The eyes are also pretty realistic, so I like that as well. Nice spikes here, very reminiscent of the Spinosaurus. The only problem with this guy is he's got 2 fingers. So, what gives? Is this a T-Rex or an Allosaurus? Yeah, well. And now for one of the more recent puppets I've gotten. This obviously is not a dinosaur, this is a crocodile, utilized in my film The Crocodile of Warnwood Lake. And I really like this one. It's pretty realistic looking. Generally there's no gaps in the paint, it's all pretty consistent. Looks very much like a real-life crocodile. So that's pretty good. And it's made of really soft material, so you can really pretty much move it however you like. I mean, it's so soft you can just crumple it up like this, and it's fine. I guess I could see that being a problem, like if you're using this in a movie and it might bend kind of awkwardly and look like it's a piece of plastic, which it is. Now we're starting on everyone's favorite dinosaur, the king of the dinosaurs, the T-Rex itself. Now this is just one of 3 T-Rexes that I have. So far I actually haven't used this one in any of my movies because, well, I have 2 other ones that are way better. But this one's not too bad. I mean, look at it, it's pretty realistic. Yeah. I really like the eye also. This is made by the same people who made the Allosaurus and the Spinosaurus, so it's also got that nice looking eye. It's kind of orange in color, orange and blue, which is an interesting color scheme. Out of these three, the Spinosaurus obviously is the hardest to use because of how tight it is. This guy I would say is the second tightest. Like, you'll fit your hand in there fine, but it might take a little bit of fiddling around with. And the Allosaurus is pretty much fine. You can get your hand in there, no problem at all. For this next puppet, I guess we'll have to move this out of the way, just because it's so large. So here is my green T-Rex puppet, which is probably the most famous out of all the puppets that I've used. It's appeared in a lot of my films, including the Dinosaur Attack trilogy. And I guess it's my favorite one because, well, for one thing, it's a full body puppet, so you can have the entire body in a movie. You could have shots of the tail, of the feet stomping on the ground, and of course, that awesome looking head. And it's sculpted really well so the teeth really fit into each other perfectly. The detail is exquisite, even close up. The paint, very nice. Just pretty much everything about this puppet is amazing, except one thing. Over time, it really starts falling apart. As you can see, my puppet is in bad shape. It's got this giant crack here, and then the seams are coming apart as well. I think at one point, all the glue just came right off, and the head just detached itself. Same with the tail. This seam right here kind of breaks after a while, so that's the biggest con of this puppet, I'd say. And then I also have a different version of that same puppet. Let me just grab it real quick. Right here. I like to think of this one as the mate of that green T-Rex. I guess this is a female. It's the same puppet, but with a different color scheme. Personally, I think I prefer the green color scheme, but some people might like this. So same problem, I guess, with the seams. Kind of fragile in a way, if you're too rough with it, I think. And the feet come off as well. As you can see, one of the feet has come off. I have not yet gotten around to fixing it. It's made of two different materials, by the way, both this and the green T-Rex. The head and the tail are both made of a softer material, so you can kind of bend it around. Well, obviously the head would have to be soft so you can actually puppeteer it. But the body, it's pretty much just hard plastic. But the legs are posable. It's got a joint right there. Oh yeah, and before I forget to mention it, these two puppets were made by a company called Puppet Toys Incorporated, which made a whole bunch of really nice quality puppets actually, but unfortunately the company does seem to be out of business now, so you won't be able to get any of these puppets anymore, sadly enough. I was pretty lucky to grab these two while I still could. Now I have this puppet made by Hasbro. It was actually a piece of merchandise for Jurassic World in 2015. As you might be able to tell, it's supposed to be a velociraptor. And I guess it's okay, but it's not that good if you look closely. I mean, look at this. The texture is really kind of lackluster. It leaves something to be desired. It's not too realistic. Look at that seam right there. So not the best quality. Although it is probably the best option if you're just looking for something to give your kids to have fun with. Because these are pretty common, they're soft, so, you know, they're good toys, but maybe not so good for movie making. The second puppet in that line was this T-Rex puppet. So, alongside the Velociraptor, this thing released as Jurassic World merchandise. And this guy is even worse than the Raptor, in my opinion. It just looks like garbage to me. Because it looks nothing like the T-Rex looked in Jurassic World. Color is all wrong, and the detail is just terrible. Another thing I don't like about these puppets is that It doesn't include a neck at all. I mean, it's fine if there's no arms, I don't really care. But this doesn't even have a neck. It's just a head, so to make movies with this, you gotta hold it really close to the camera, and you gotta be really careful not to expose your arm. It's really easy to do that, because it has no neck. So this puppet, along with the raptor, really not my favorites, and I'd recommend them the least out of all these puppets, unless you're just giving it to your kids just to have fun with. So yeah, those are all of Great Nate 98's puppets. But wait, I missed out on one particular puppet. This beauty right here. This is a custom kaiju puppet that I'm making. Kaiju is Japanese for strange beast. Pretty much a giant monster, like Godzilla, Gamera, things like that. So yeah, I really look forward to using this in some future movies. Obviously, it's not yet complete, but it's getting there.